without further ado, today we have Miss Jennifer Pratt on. I'm excited for this one. You ready to rock?
Yes, I'm ready. I had to get myself off mute. Sorry about that.
Awesome. So gosh, we probably met, I don't know, was it almost probably 3 years ago at an event?
It was in Charlotte, actually. Yep.
At one of the Charlotte events.
I think I joined in the fall of 2019. So it would have been probably that summer.
Awesome. I love it.
Yeah.
I remember meeting you and I remember you're just full of energy, full of positivity and just ready to get to work. So I'm excited
to
hear a little more of your story. So let's just get back to where were you before eXp and then why'd you join eXp?
So I was with Carolina One, which is here in Charleston, South Carolina. That's where I'm located. And it's the largest real estate company here in the area. It's mom and pop kind of philosophy behind it. It was Prudential before, and then they changed it to Carolina One. I was there for 5 years. I am known around here as the real estate fairy godmother. Got lots of, my car wrapped and, all that stuff, but that's for my, the real estate side of things. And I just started, it was probably about 9 years ago.
Cool. Awesome. So who's your sponsor? Is it, it's not Meg, is it?
It's Robin. So Robin is under Meg, right?
Exactly.
So so Meg is like one of my best friends here since I joined eXp, and Robin Phillips is my sponsor, direct sponsor.
Yeah. And we just had Robin and her husband on the call on this not too long
ago.
Oh,
they're great. Cool. They're great people.
Yeah. I knew you were part of the Charleston crew. Awesome.
Yeah.
And I love the branding too. I can see the picture behind you. You kind of got your
you can see all my office pictures there. I've got my wand and my tiara ready.
Awesome. I love that. Very personal.
I just taught a branding class for fellow real estate agents, in eXp as well as outside eXp. Yesterday, we had about 25 people, so that was good.
Nice, cool. I want to talk about that in a second. So Robin exposed you to eXp when you saw the presentation. Like, what was the thing that really drew you to it? Was it revenue share or was it something else?
So when I joined, and I've said this to all of the people that I talked to, I'm like, I just couldn't unsee it. And I had, interestingly enough, this is how I know about eXp. I have a friend who lives in Austin, Texas, that I know from living in the Virgin Islands for 17 years in St. Thomas. And her name is Vanessa Nunez. And she reached out to me years ago, I want to say 2016. And I was like fairly new in real estate. I was like, whoa. This is like, she's like, it's the Amazon of real estate. You need to. So I think back then the website for eXp itself wasn't built out yet. So I never got a response back when I inquired about it. So in 2017, I looked back at it and I actually bought stock in the company. I had my financial advisor look at it. He bought stock in the company. Wow. And then he kept saying to me, why are you not joining this company? And I'm like, I'm scared. And so I really sat down when I looked at how much my Carolina One was taken out of my pocket. I was like, holy crap, this is like $63,000, $57,000. Over 4 years, it was over $200,000. And I was like, I'm a single mom. I got to put my kid through college, and that's college numbers. So I, started researching, and I went right back to eXp, kind of probably very much knowing that I was going to be an eXp agent. But I had to, of course, interview 9 other companies in the area. And I was like, so what do you do for stock options? What do you do for revenue share? Do you have health insurance? And they're like, no, of course. And that's how I got here. And I'm so glad I did. I mean, it changed my life. And I talk about my story all the time about how life-changing it was. And just to piggyback on that, in my first 2.5 years with eXp, I was able to buy not 1, not 2, 3 brand new construction rental properties. Wow. Just from keeping my own money. Wow. Yeah, that's pretty freaking amazing.
Yeah, that's incredible. Yeah. That's a huge testimony to the power of this company. It's crazy. The revenue share is great. And that's why we're all on this call to learn how to build our organizations. But
absolutely,
between the money you're saving, the agent equity program, buying the stock, even before you're an eXp agent, because in 2017, because that's when I joined, the stock went under $3 a share.
Oh, it was. It was really inexpensive.
Yeah, so that's amazing. And for those of you that don't know, the stock has split since then. So it's really like, if it's say $13 a share today, it's really 26 because it split a few years ago. So we're still up like 10x from early 2017.
Yeah, exactly.
Sweet. So let's talk about it a little bit. So you have how many people in your organization today?
So almost 30, actually. I think 27 or 28 right now. I have 15 frontline and 10 of them are FLQAs, which is, of course, the number we want to keep. I like to have 15, but I do get paid on all 3 levels that I have open so far.
Perfect. So not missing any money. I know.
No, I was dying at Cabo when I heard that guy who had over 1,000 people in his organization and didn't have the number of frontline people that I do. Even I think it was maybe he had 10 or 15, but he wasn't getting paid on so many levels. Yeah. And I was like, oh my gosh, I would be literally locking myself in my house and calling to get my frontline built out.
Yeah, I feel the pain a little bit because I'm at 30 right now, but it's all right. What's interesting, I was in Breckenridge with John a couple of weeks ago, and we're on the ski lift talking about if you truly just didn't want to work ever again and just let your FLQAs essentially go to zero, once you're at a couple thousand people in your organization. Yeah, you still get paid on all levels. You just don't get paid the exponential share. And John did the math. I think it was 30,000 potentially without having even one FLQA, which is really cool. That's really
wow. Wow.
Yeah,
that's amazing.
So cool. So you got about 30 or so people. I know there's lots of people on this call dying to have 30 people in their organization. Huge accomplishment. Congrats on that. What's been the biggest rev share month? Has it gotten to the point where it's multiple thousands of dollars a month? As a 4,000. 4,000? Nice.
4,000, yeah.
That's great.
That's been I've done that a few times. Of course, I had these big hefty goals and stuff, and I just haven't done as much attraction as I'd like to, but I've changed things over this last year. And I've been for about a year now working on accountability calls with Meg Watson. We do them every Wednesday, and we do 2 hours. And then sometimes we even add in an extra day if we've got an event planned. We do a lot of events here in Charleston, training classes, happy hours, that kind of thing.
That's amazing. So in your short 3 years with eXp, you've been able to buy 3 new construction rental properties, plus build a revenue share organization of 30 people. That's kind of I look at it that's an additional rental property paid off. Right. That's appreciating because that's going to keep growing and that income is going to keep growing. And it's even better than a rental property because, you have new construction rental properties. So yours are in good shape, but properties, you got the toilets breaking, you need a new roof, all that.
That's definitely why I do it that way.
Yeah, that's amazing. Good for you. I'm glad that you shared that with everybody because that's a huge testament to the power of this model that you've taken advantage of. And a lot of people, might be like, man, I'm not getting to 1,000 agents as fast as I hoped, or 500 agents. And, there's other ways to build financial freedom through the power of this model. And you're a great example of that. So talk a little bit about your branding event that you do. Was that hey, we're just going to do it and whoever wants to come, or was that specifically, we're going to try to attract agents through it?
It's definitely an agent attraction. We have sponsors for the classes as well as our events, and it's definitely to attract agents to what eXp has to offer. We don't do anything eXp explained or anything at the event. It's basically to just show value and make relationships with people. And since it's a smaller class, it's a good masterminding and then just getting to know other agents. And then Meg and I took a couple of the agents that were there that are not with eXp to lunch yesterday. So that was a great follow up to the morning class at 11:30. We all went to lunch. So cool. And I'm sure they're both going to come because we are so much fun.
That's
and enthusiastic, right? You've got to be enthusiastic about this.
Yeah, it was the personality profile, as John was just sharing. The dolphin, I think it was the social one. They'll come if it's just fun. It doesn't matter. And agents, man, so many agents are dolphins. They're just the Keller Williams agent sees they're having more fun at eXp. They're like, I'm gonna make the switch just because it looks more fun. That's
and truly, I think that when you're a positive, upbeat, fun person, you kind of obviously you attract those people. That want to know more about the culture, say, than the money or whatever. But that was what was important to me as a single mom was the financial piece and leaving a legacy to my kids. I have a lot of friends that are not in a position to leave for their children. And I think that is a huge pain point for people.
Yeah, so true. And And watching you guys in Charleston, you guys are such a fun bunch, like with Meg and David and Rob and you guys.
We love it. Yeah, we really do.
Side note, Meg, if Meg, you're ever watching this, I don't think you're on right now, but shout out to Meg. She actually went with me on my first listing presentation ever in Lake Norman, which was really cool. Yeah,
wow,
we didn't get it, unfortunately, but I remember driving with her, and she kind of helped mentored me in my early career along with Craig and Shelley, which was really neat. So,
that's so cool.
To all them. Yeah, so cool. So you're doing these events.
Yeah.
It sounds like you're filling the room pretty well. Are you doing it like every month, every quarter? Is it more just kind of like whenever you feel like it? Like, what's your thought process around how you're doing it and how promoting it? Like, how are you getting people to those events? Because I think this is a great strategy, and I think the agents who are doing this are really going to excel in agent attraction over the next 3 to 5 years.
Yeah. So for me, I was immediately asked to be, right after I joined eXp, asked to be on the leadership team here in Charleston, which is basically kind of taken our local market from 100 eXp agents. We're over 600 now. So I really, kind of, that's definitely from the events that we've done and the presence that we have made because of those events. So we were doing an event a month last year, and that was a lot. I have to say that was a lot. Yeah. So this year we're doing them every other month. So that's plenty. Our sponsors are still happy. We have 3 sponsors. We have a lender, we have an insurance person, and we have a law office. So those 3 are very good for if you're looking to have sponsors. Those are kind of key people. We did them at a local distillery, had a happy hour afterwards. Our events are usually 2:30, 3 o'clock in the afternoon till 5:30. Now we're doing our own bar setup because they decided to double our fees at the distillery. So now we're in a brand new room, gorgeous exposed brick downtown Charleston feel at the visitor center. So that is an awesome spot, really local, really central. And then, we're even doing one big event a year where we pay someone to come in and talk. And this year it's a person on AI. Her name is Marky Lemons. If you guys ever want to look her up on social media, Marky Lemons is fantastic. She's kind of the forefront for AI for real estate. She's a real estate agent herself. Anyway, so that's our big one in July. So that we do a lot of lead up to. And we try all of the leadership team as well as the people on our personal teams. We're encouraging to, make 25 to 50 phone calls to get people to the event. And we blast it out on the local realtor pages, for realtors only here in Charleston. And, just say, hey, DM me for the link to the Eventbrite. Because we don't want, for example, new construction agents or other lenders coming to step on toes, that kind of thing. So we keep control over who comes, but we definitely strategically make calls to invite.
Okay, awesome. That's great. I love that model. It's a lot like what Keller Williams does. They bring in outside speakers regionally to the market centers or just to a local hotel, and all the market centers get their agents there to provide more value, which I think is great. Yeah, I used to love going to classes like that when I was at KW. How much are you paying Marky Lemons? Like, if someone wants to get a speaker like her in, what is the speaking fee?
I think with everything, her hotel, her speaking engagement, and all, I don't know if we're paying airfare or not, but it's about $6,000.
Okay, cool.
So because we're not doing 12 events and we're doing 6 events, we have a little bit of extra to put towards that. And, for us, it's just a way to, as we do panels now. So we started off doing speakers. Now we're doing more panels and masterminds because it seems to get a better result and a better, when people are strategically talking to each other and they're learning from agents from all other companies, we'll have just one person from eXp on a board of 5 or 6 on a panel. So this one that's coming up next week on Wednesday is 40 under 40. So we reached out to all the 40 under 40 people. We got 6 panelists and we're off and running. So the panels are great because you're telling people, we admire you. We want to hear what you have to say. You're from other companies. We're just putting everybody together to kind of help each other and calling them to be on the panel, number one, and then also calling other people to say, hey, we think that you would really get a lot out of this.
Yeah, that's cool. Do you charge for those events where you have the panels?
Nope.
Yeah, that's cool.
We are talking about charging for the Marky Lemons one since we're hiring her only because we want people to show up. Not necessarily that we need to make the money, but that, you know, that we charge $10, they might actually come, or $20. You know what I mean? So,
right. Yeah, I think that's great. And it provides like the perception of value is higher, you know,
exactly.
Even if you pay, you know, $97, but you know, before the 31st, you know, $25 or something.
Yeah, exactly.
Or she charges thousands of dollars to speak, but you can come for only $25 or something.
Exactly. And then people are more likely to show up because they've spent money.
Yeah, I love it. That's cool.
Yeah.
And these types of events too, like are so great for retention as well, for existing agents to go to and plug into, and it's all good.
New agents.
And new agents. Talk a little bit about your new construction rentals. Is the money that you saved like through your cap, or was it some stock that you sold from attracting agents or iconing? Like how did you get the capital to buy those? If you want to talk a little bit about that.
Yeah, so that was in my first, so I've been 3.5 years with eXp. That was in my first 2.5 years. I was able to do that because of the money that I wasn't giving to Carolyn One. Okay, strictly. I mean, I hadn't.
Wow.
I think my first year I didn't get to icon because I kind of started late in the year, but I have iconed since then. And, you know, that's awesome because they give me my cap back, you know, in stock. But the real thing that, especially for people that are giving a lot of split to their companies, I tell them that I'm like, hey, I was able to make so much more money in my body. It's not what you make, it's how much you keep. I mean, bottom line, any business, it's not what you make, it's what you keep. So I tell them, hey, I was able to keep this much more money. And I was making more money because I had lead generation, which I didn't have at my old company. So I was not only, my bottom line was getting higher than what I was keeping was higher too. So yeah,
that's great. That's a really good story to be able to share, because now you've taken the money that you're just saving by not being at a company that has a high split, no cap or whatever,
right,
invested it in an asset that's going to pay you for the rest of your life.
Right. Which is amazing. And I post about that success without mentioning eXp. I'm like, hey, you know, I love, you know, and I'll hashtag it, but I will talk about that. Like, hey, I was able to keep so much more of my money. I bought, this is what I did in 2.5 years. And I post that sometimes on social media, and I don't necessarily say why, but people were like, tell me about that. You know, both clients and realtors will ask me about it. So, you know, I have an answer for both of them. Buy an investment property or come to eXp. Yeah,
it's a very organic way to open a conversation when you're creating curiosity through story like that.
Right.
I really like your approach, and I think it's going to resonate with a lot of people on the call, because it's not the, you know, cold calling strangers, just pitching them. Right. It's like, hey, let's add value first, and then share USP once we form a relationship. Which, you know, some people are cold call types, some people aren't. So this is a great call. A lot of value added.
So for me, it's been such an organic process, and I haven't done as much that of course I would like to be at 1,000 agents right now after 3.5 years, but it's so organic. Like when I make phone calls, I make them to people that are acquaintances of mine, and I will say, hey, let's have coffee, let's have lunch, let's mastermind about this market together, and just build that relationship. And then by the second time I can start to talk. But you know what? They always ask me about it. They always ask me.
Yeah.
So, and a funny story is, I took a guy who was at my old company. He's been there for 20 years. I took him to lunch, and I really wanted to find out about his motorhome trip out west, because I'm doing that next summer with my daughter for 6 weeks. And I've had a motorhome for a long time. And I asked him about it. He took his family, and 10 minutes before I was supposed to meet him for lunch, he goes, all right, I've been worrying about this all night. I don't want you to talk to me about eXp because I don't want to come. I'm happy where I'm at, blah, blah, blah. And I go, I wasn't planning on it. I was planning on asking you about your trip. And that's it. I'm not going to talk about it. You know where I work. You know that I love it. I mean, I figure you'll call me, right, when you're ready. Bull, if 5 minutes in, he didn't ask me for 30 minutes questions about eXp. Just because I told him I was not going to talk about it, you know, but he was like, so tell me about this. Tell me about it. It was funny.
That is funny. It's like a lot of agents are kind of, you know, brainwashed by their brokers, like to you know, hear no evil, you know, like those three keys: hear no evil, speak no evil, see no evil. That's what reminds me. Agents are like, like, don't show me, because they, once they see it, like you said, they can't unsee it. Once they hear it,
and you can't unsee it.
So he's like trying to resist, and he gets there and he's like, okay, let's talk about it.
Yeah, it was really funny because I gave him the answer that he wanted to hear. Like, I'm not going to talk about it, but yet it didn't stop him from keep controlling the conversation.
Yeah. I'm all about the motorhome lifestyle too. And it's so cool that you're able to do that. Like there's not a lot of real estate agents that are able to take that much time off, travel the country.
Yeah.
And that's cool. When are you doing that next summer, you said, or this summer?
Yeah, so we were going to do it this summer, but my daughter's dad lives in Australia and she's going there for a few weeks. Okay. So we decided to switch it to after she graduates high school. So I figured that's my last chance to get her in that motorhome by herself for 6 weeks.
Yeah, that's right. That's cool. A couple questions here. And if you guys have any more questions, if you want to put them in the chat, that'd be awesome. Cami, if you want to, I don't remember which list you were referring to. So if you want to clarify on that, that'd be awesome. Jim McCord says he has 35 people with under him at KW and is making $900 a month on average, which is actually really good. Jim joined us last month at eXp. Jim's awesome. That's actually a lot. I have about the same amount in my organization at KW, and I'm earning about a third of that per year. The profit in the market centers where I'm getting profit from are just really down. And that's what's cool about the difference between revenue share and profit share. I was actually out to dinner with a KW agent last night here at my home in Dorado Beach. He had just bought an Airbnb here, so we linked up. First time meeting him. He's a GoBundance guy. I'm in GoBundance. But anyways, he actually had the same, or Gene Frederick was his team leader when Gene Frederick was a team leader at KW in Austin, which was kind of cool. But so we're kind of talking about a little bit about the difference between profit share and revenue share. And it's like, if you have agents in the market centers where there's profit share happening and there's no profit share, whereas revenue's off the top, which is the key distinction between revenue share and profit share. For those of you wondering.
And on top of that, I tell people, I'm like, we're revenue share, which let me give you the breakdown. If you're profit share, that means your company didn't have the gala that $1,000 ahead at the end of the year. They didn't have the awards banquet. They don't have to redecorate the office. They don't have to up the rent on the office. So all of that is what you're talking profit share. After all that's taken away, then that's your profit. Revenue share is just a flat amount that is guaranteed when you do these things.
Exactly.
So,
Yeah, I was listening to the Brent Gove presentation from Cabo yesterday when I was working out, and it was the one from Cabo, and he was just talking about how his parents, they're late 80s, I want to say, and they've been at I think Remax, Coldwell Banker, Century 21, one of those, but their whole career they were there, and then they retired with not a lot of income coming in, and how his parents just wish they would have had something like eXp when they were younger. Cause it's like, imagine, every real estate agent on this call, like you're likely going to have a 10, 20, 30-year career as a real estate agent. So just to be adding a couple agents a year to your front line, what that will eventually amount to when you go to end your career, retire, you got a few rental properties, you got a couple hundred agents in your organization, like you're making some money, in retirement versus just, trying to get through it. So,
and then willing it to your kids too. I mean, that makes a huge difference.
Exactly. Yep. Leave something behind. And what's crazy, and we talk about this a lot, like, you're getting pretty close. I think you'll be to say 40 grand a year before you know it in rev share.
Okay. Yep.
Which is like the average real estate agent only makes 38,000. So you'll be doing residual what they're doing. But that means, can you guys still hear me okay?
Yeah.
All right, cool. My phone just connected. So it dinged at me. But you would need $1 million invested at 4% is the safe withdrawal rate. You guys can Google the Trinity study, or 4% safe withdrawal rate. Essentially, if you want 40 grand a year in retirement, you need $1 million saved, and then you can safely live off 4%, $40,000 a year. So that's $1 million saved in the bank if you're making 40 grand a year in revenue share. And it's not that hard to get there. And and
then also too, I mean, I always think about the fact that, as you said, and we were talking, it's willable to your child, your children, your grandchildren, your whatever. You can use it for college educations and all that stuff. And I was laughing because I was at Cabo and I got a henna tattoo on the top of my bathing suit on my breast, and it's at eXp. And so people were asking me left and right, is that real? Is that real? Is that real? I said, no, but mark my word. And you guys are all my witnesses on this call. Mark my word. When I have 5,000 people in my revenue share, that will be a real tattoo.
You're getting it. Nice. I'm going to hold you accountable to that.
Yeah. Okay. Yep. I didn't say if, I said when.
Yeah, totally. That'll be awesome. Well, cool. Any parting words of encouragement or advice to agents looking to get started with revenue share or kind of just get restarted?
Yeah, I think really just find yourself an accountability partner first. Hugely important, because there's a lot of weeks I do not want to be social on the phone, and I don't love making those calls. But if I know someone else is waiting on the other side of that Zoom, and how that works is I make a call, she's muted. I mute, she makes a call. We chat about what we could have done differently. I even forget to mention things, and she'll put in the chat box, oh, don't forget to mention this. It sounds like, you know, blah, blah, blah. So those are that's really helpful. I make it a goal to have 3 coffee dates or lunch dates with agents every week. Like every single week, that is my goal, is to have 3. I know we're all busy with real estate and everything else in our lives, but 3 coffees, I mean, it doesn't have to be long, an hour. So 3 hours a week. Make calls for 2 to 3 hours a week. And I really think that just getting your mindset in that, have a dry erase board with your prospects on it. Just like you have a hot and warm list and you have closed deals or whatever you have under contract and listings and stuff, just do that for your attraction the same way you do for your other business. Yeah. And then lastly, I was listening to Matthew McConaughey last week on his 2.4 million viewer thing that he had with, you know, Marie Forleo, the B School, and some other people. But somebody on that show said, or I think it was him actually, said, when you really drill it down, selling equals love. You are giving something of value to somebody. And I just resonated with me. I'm like, I want everyone from the bottom of my heart that I know, that I don't know, that's in this business, to have this opportunity that I have. And when you think about it coming from a place of giving and a place of service, you can't fail. And that's when he said that, what selling equals love, I was like, oh my gosh, that is attraction. That's attraction, 100%.
So good. That's such a great way to describe it. That's awesome. I'm gonna try to find the replay now, because I saw that he was coming off a course or something.
Amazing.
But I didn't see that they had that.
Yeah, they do have the replay. I'll email it over to you. I have it.
All right, cool. Yeah. Appreciate that. Yeah, his book. Have you read his book Green Lights or listened to the audio? Yeah, I
listened to it. He's the best speaker, and he was just like that on his thing last week.
Yeah, if you guys are looking for a good Audible, I would recommend. I don't like Audible. I get an Audible every month for free because I have the Amex Platinum and it gets like reimbursed. So anyways, I download Audibles and I listen to like none of them because I just like can't engage. Like I was just trying to do it this morning on the way to Costco. I was like, I don't even know what I'm listening to right now. I just got turned off. But the Green Lights, Matthew McConaughey audio is awesome. It's him reading it. And I think he adds a lot to it that probably isn't in the book as he's just talking. And,
it's really funny.
Yeah, it's great. I haven't met anyone who wasn't excited to share Green Lights after listening to it. So,
and you are a badass, and you are a badass at making money. 2 of my all-time life-changing books that I've listened to by Jen Sincero. And if you get a chance to listen to them, because she is like a stand-up comedian and it's entertaining, but it's also no nonsense. Like, why aren't you doing this? Are you afraid of being embarrassed? Well, does that make you not want to, you know what I mean? It's just really no nonsense.
Okay. Does that book have a yellow cover?
Yeah, you are a badass, and you are a badass at making money. Yeah.
Okay, cool. Yeah, I've seen that. I've seen that title. I haven't read it, so I'll have to check that one out.
Yeah, those were a couple that I recommend that will really kind of kick you in the butt and change your life.
Cool, awesome. Thanks for sharing. Well, it's been awesome. Sure. Looking forward to have you on again in the near future, and we'll see you then.
All right, thanks, guys. Have a great day.
See you, Stacey.